Hi, my friends. How are you? How's it going in your world? I can only imagine. Let's see. If you're like me and my several friend texts that I have, there's just a lot of uncertainty going on. So come on in, come on in. I want to just talk to you today about 5 tips that I want to give you about how we can stay calm in the middle of chaos. I have a feeling that this is one of those things that I got training in really young. My home was pretty chaotic as I was growing up with an alcoholic dad, a brother who was a sociopath, and my mom just trying to hold it all together. So I really learned to kind of just focus in and stay calm. My whole childhood, I was really of the mindset of I didn't want to add anything else to the chaos. So that might be a little disassociation. I'm not sure. But I also, now as a coach, have really worked with tons and tons of people who are dealing with low levels of anxiety, not the therapeutic level, but low levels of anxiety and really kind of let their emotions take the best of them in moments unexpectedly. So I just wanted to give you 5 top tips for you. And so the first one is just the biggest one and that is coming back to your breath. Now I'm going to have a special guest on Friday, Chantal Donnelly, who is a physical therapist and a resiliency coach. She teaches through the resiliency toolkit. And I, of course, knew about my breath. We all know about our breath, right? But working with her, and she's going to give us some more information about this on Friday, I realized just how important it was. And not so much that, but the why. I found the why behind it so fascinating. When we're in an anxiety or scared mode or frightened or that fight or flight, right? What happens is our breath shortens. It helps us not to move. It helps us to kind of just be cool and silent, especially if we're in freeze mode. But what happens, what we can do, and the interesting thing about our breath is it's the only kind of both autonomic, meaning it just happens without us thinking, and we can control it, biological function that's required in our body. It allows us to do. So I think that's fascinating. But she shared with me, it's not the in-breath that's so important. It is the out-breath. And you know this, when you have a scare or something comes up for you and you realize, it's fine. What do? We go, we let out a big, huge sigh. And that big, huge sigh is actually a message to our brain that we're safe, that we're okay. And so one of the things that I would, in this state that all of us, or at least half of us, are in right now, with the election, with the pandemic, with the incredible levels of uncertainty that we're experiencing, coming back to our breath as often as we can, just to let our mind and our body system know that we're safe and we're okay, can often lower or start lowering those levels of anxiety. So that's the first one. The second one I want to share with you is the idea of just getting outside. We can spend so much of our time inside. And John Kim from The Angry Therapist, I remember him saying so clearly to me, and it just stuck with me, get out of your house to get out of your head. So true, right? Because when we're in our head and the walls can start coming in on us, the problems can get bigger and bigger. But you know this. If you can step outside and just hopefully connect with nature or connect with another human being as you pass by them on the sidewalk, hopefully masked up, there is a sense of getting out of your head, that you connect with something energetically different the moment you step outside. So the first one was all about our breath. The second one was just that idea of getting outside. And more importantly, or in conjunction with that, if we can't get outside, at least move your body. The book Burnout that came out this year by the two sisters, oh my gosh, Emily and Amelia, I think that's their names. And now I can't remember the last names. Someone will look it up, I'm sure. They talk about the idea, that we have a stress cycle that we get into. And when we get into a high level burnout stage, it's often because we have not been completing our stress cycles, meaning we have the stress and then we have another stress and then we have another stress, but we're never letting the stress actually completely get through our bodies. And that's one of the reasons why exercise is so important. Like if you're feeling high levels of anxiety, I'm just going to encourage you to get outside and go for a walk. Now, some of you may know that I've been, I'm on, I don't know what day I'm in right now, 40 something. September 23rd was 100 days, was the marker for 100 days left in September. And in that day, I decided that I am going to walk for every single day. And at first, I was thinking, man, it'd be great if I could lose some weight, if I could get in better shape. But ultimately, what it's come down to now for me is I just want to complete the stress cycle. Every day, I just want to get the stress out of my body. So that's number 2, right? Your breath, get outside, get some exercise. The third one is this idea of just connecting with others. When we are by ourselves, we can let a story get bigger and bigger and bigger in our head. And just sometimes expressing to someone what you're feeling or what you're thinking and allowing them to kind of ask some questions or to validate what you're thinking, to validate what you're feeling, can lower that anxiety level. It can happen online for sure. It's even better in person, but I know we're all in, many of us in a quarantine situation or a pandemic, so we're not having those relationships that we used to. So I'm on several text chains with friends. Find someone on social media. See if you can just hop on a call or a text and see how they're doing and how you're doing. Connect with someone else. That can also just lower your anxiety level. And that great question Stephen Covey asked in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Number 4 is, what is within my control? I mean, really, when we think about all of the uncertainty that we're facing right now, and as Brene Brown talked about it in a recent podcast, I love that she called it the ambiguous loss. We're all dealing with the ambiguous loss. We don't know exactly, we know on some level what we're losing, but we're not quite sure how long it's going to be gone, if anything is going to come back. So the high levels of uncertainty just jack up our anxiety levels, jack up our cortisol levels, because we just don't know where to go next, right? And so that question, especially when you're feeling high levels of anxiety of, okay, well, what is within my control right now, is often just a reframer to think, if I'm focusing on all the things that I can't really control, like the election, if you've done your part and you're voted, you can't really do anything right now, right? We're going to be waiting for the outcome. We can't really do anything with a pandemic. What can you control? You can control washing your hands, wearing a mask, being careful when you go out, right? Not going into parties. That's what you can control. You can't control anything else besides the conversations that you're having with others and the ones in your head. So when you think about this, when you're getting into high levels of stress, what's really within your control, and come back to that. Everything else, you can't do anything about it. So why stress over it? And then lastly, I want to give you a question. And I'm a big believer that the questions will always fuel your experience. And in this particular case, I think there is this idea of when you're in a state of anxiety, worry, concern, just coming back, not to your head, but a place in your heart, and asking the question, what do I need right now? What do I really need? I'm asking that myself that right now, and I realize I need some water. My body is saying I need some water. I need to let go of some things. I need to be okay in this moment. And if your answer comes back with a bunch of negative stuff or more browbeating, you know you're in your ego. But if the answer comes back from a really compassionate, loving place, you really do know you're coming from your heart, and answer that call. The call to your heart for what you really need will be the answer to what you really need. Hi, Rena. Thanks so much. I love it. So that's it, my friends. The five top tips today. Come back to your breath. Remember, that's a real indicator to your mind and to your body that you are safe. You are safe. And to get outside if you can. Go get some exercise if you can. Complete that stress cycle in your body. If you can, connect with others, either here on social media, on a text, hopefully in person somehow. But let someone know what you're going through and have your feelings validated, or just get it out verbally. The fourth one is just focusing on what is in your control. What's in your control? If it's not in your control, you don't need to spend time stressing about it. And lastly, what do you really need right now? What does your heart need right now? And answer that call. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. You know what? I'm going to make these every day at 4 for the next week. So come on back and I'll be talking some more Moffitt Talks. Bye, everybody. Oh, Rena, I think it's just you. Bye, friend.